the first thing I want to talk about is structuring our team. And this team doesn't really have any members in it. If I actually go to the settings, you can always access this from the bottom left-hand corner. We can head down to members. This actually only has 4 people. Actually, I'm going to remove my colleague, Valentino. He was helping me out with something in here before, so we can just work on it like this. Basically, I have myself, my own user. I'm the administrator. I created this, but I also have 2 different members who I've invited. And I'm just going to add the plus and then like a name of the role, so you can kind of imagine what they might be doing inside of this instance. So this one is our first engineer. This is our, that should probably say first designer, but we're going to add a few more people. You can always invite people in the upper right-hand corner. You can always also check out our pricing page to see how that affects whether they're like an editor, a reader, etc. But I'm going to go ahead and add like another engineer. We'll make this number 2. And I'll change some of these in just a minute. I'm also going to add a designer. I'll add the first one again. But you can see as we start to add more people, we can also start to change their roles. And I'll go through all the roles that we have here. So I'm just going to add 2 marketing people, my designer, another designer, and then also another engineer. So we should have like, I think 7 or 8 people in here afterwards. By default, they are going to be added as an editor, but you can see a list of the full roles here. You can add as many admins as you want. As it says here, they can do everything. They can remove people, they can create spaces, they can publish things. But as we go down the list, you'll see that people will have less and less permissions to do various things in GitBook. The creator is a pretty powerful role as well. You can create, publish, merge, and edit. So this is going to be really useful. And if anyone needs to create things like new doc sites, if they need to publish their site for the first time, create new pages, you're going to want to make them the creator so they can have all of this access. The reviewer is someone who, as it says here, can only review and merge change requests. So this is going to be useful for people who don't necessarily need to edit anything, but just need to check off like a final copy. I think this might be pretty useful for people who are maybe in like marketing, or even sometimes a designer that might have to work a little bit on the docs, but not like the whole content, and just need to make sure there's no typos, or the style guide might be similar to the one that might be set. An editor is a default role that, again, we give when you invite someone to the first time. This is pretty standard. They can edit pages, submit change requests, and also merge them too. The commenter, as it says here, can only comment and only read. So this also might be pretty useful as a reviewer, but a little bit less permission, so they won't be able to merge anything. They can just leave feedback. And a reader is, as it says here, read-only access. Now, this is really useful as well if you are working with people from outside of your organization, the reader role. I'm going to show you how you can use that in different ways in GitBook, but keep that in mind as you go through adding people, whether it's here in this modal inside of like your organization settings, or if you're adding them outside inside of a space itself, which I will show you later. All of these roles are going to be the same across the GitBook app. So let me go ahead and change the engineer. Editor's fine there. The first designer can also be an editor, but actually our marketing team, I only want them to be, the first one to be a reviewer and the second one to be we'll leave that as a commenter. And then we can go ahead and add all these people to our team. Next, let me click there. But the cool part about this now is now that we have a couple more people, we can add more people if we need to afterwards. As an admin, you're able to change all of the permissions right at the top, but also from this modal, you're also able to see how many teams they're a part of and also how many spaces they have access to. So by default, all of the spaces that we have currently give access to everyone inside of this organization. But keep this in mind too, because we're going to come back to this in just a little bit and see what this looks like after we remove some people and add a few extra people in different ways. So the next thing I want to show us is also how we can use different teams. A lot of you who are using GitBook are working in fairly large organizations, and instead of managing everyone's access at a granular level and by a per user basis, what you can also do is create something called a team. You'll find this section also in the organization settings if you have access to this and are going to be working in it down here. And we can create as many teams as we want. So the first one that I'm going to do is keep it pretty simple and do something like engineering. We'll create the team. By default, the admin will have access to it. You'll see that I'm in there now. You aren't able to, I think if you remove it, you won't be able to add it. So I got to look at that. But what we're going to do right away is add the first engineer and the second engineer. You can search by role as well. So if you want to just do like a reviewer team or something like that, you can go ahead and do that. But we're just going to add our members here. And actually, what I want to do is remove myself from this team. I still have access to it, but now when I do things like tag or ask for like a review from someone, it's going to just be inside of the engineering team. The second one is going to be design. Just do this quickly. Oops. We'll add our designers in. And also going to remove from the team. Cool. And let's also just do marketing. Oops, wrong one, this one. And remove myself from this one. And the reason that I want to remove these is you'll see how this works in a little bit, but we can mention and talk and give different permissions based on these roles specifically. And that is very powerful when you're working on a large organization and need to restrict access from certain process stocks to just like a marketing or a design or working on some more internally confidential stuff before you need to give it to the rest of the team. You can use these roles, permissions, and teams very strategically. Last one that I want to do also is do something like leadership. And what I'm going to do for this one is add just the first hires for all of these roles here. So now we actually have kind of like we're going to use this one as like someone who can edit and view everything, and we'll see how that works in just a sec.